Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Chanavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Can you just get one guy? Double girl. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 46, text number 39. न चास्य कर्म वालों के, न चास्य कर्म वालों के, सद असन मिश्र योनिषु, सद असन मिश्र योनिषु, कृदार्थम सोपि साधूनां, कृदार्थम सोपि साधूनां, परित्राणाय कल्पते, परित्राणाय कल्पते, न चास्य कर्म वालों के, सद असन मिश्र योनिषु, कृदार्थम सोपि साधूनां, परित्राणाय कल्पते. न तस्य कर्म वालों के, सदसन मिश्र योनिषु, परित्राणाय कल्पते. न तस्य कर्म वालों, परित्राणाय कल्पते. न चास्य कर्म वालों के, सदसन मिश्र योनिषु, Na, there is not. Cha, and. Asya, for him. Karma, work. Va, or. Loke, in this world. Sat, pure. Asat, impure. Mishra, or mixed. Yonishu, in wombs or species. Krida, of playing. Artham, for the sake. Saha, he. Api, also. Sadhunam, of his saintly devotees. Paritranaya, for the saving. Kalpate, appears. Translation by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: He has no work to do in this world that would oblige him to take birth in pure, impure or mixed species of life. Yet to enjoy his pastimes and deliver his saintly devotees, he manifests himself. Please repeat. He has no work to do in this world that would oblige him to take birth in pure, impure or mixed species of life. Yet to enjoy his pastimes and deliver his saintly devotees, he manifests himself. That's commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Noticing that Nanda and Yashoda's prem did not decrease after his explanation, Uddhav then said, Krishna, the king of Vraj, is directly the Para-Brahman. This he explains in 3 verses. No one is dear to Brahman. What is the reason? Brahman has no false identity and is equal to all. The direct meaning of the verses which Uddhav revealed to Nanda is obvious. There is a hidden meaning as well. That Brahman does not take birth in wombs of goodness, passion or ignorance, as it is without birth and it has no karma nor a material body. Consequently, it does not have material activities or material goals. Krishna, however, takes birth from those who are beyond the modes, such as Nanda and Yashoda, Vasudeva and Devaki, and consequently fulfills responsibilities, appears with a body, performs activities and has goals. He has a mother or father. However, not wanting to directly reveal this to Nanda, Uddhav kept it covered. Though he is impersonal Brahman, he also appears out of affection for his devotee in order to deliver them from suffering. So that's Jiva Goswami's commentary, but we'll start off by discussing this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary first. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. like to seek the blessings of Maharaj and all the assembled devotees. And by your blessings, I can speak something for my own purification. Hare Krishna. So, so we are reading this conversation between Uddhav and Nanda, and Mother Yashoda is hearing it from the back. And we have heard how Uddhav is actually trying to reduce or relieve the distress of Nanda, who is actually feeling so much intense separation, so much pain from separation from Krishna. And we see how Uddhav is actually establishing that, your son Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he made, in the previous verses we see that how he said that your son is actually the seed of the universe. He is the original creator. He is present in the heart of all living beings. And even if once someone absorbs his mind on Krishna, then all his sinful reactions are washed away and he attains the highest destination. And then he actually, so one side he's establishing how Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you should be actually very happy for your love to that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because to have that love for that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest perfection. So he says, oh Nanda, you are the most praiseworthy because you already have developed that love. So on one side, he's establishing the position of Krishna as the Supreme. And on the other side, Uddhav is actually giving the assurance that Krishna will come back. Krishna will come back. Right? So in the last few verses, we say, Uddhav saying, Krishna will soon return to Vraj to satisfy you. He will fulfill his promise by coming back. So do not lament. You will see Krishna very soon. So again and again, he's actually making this point. Right? So these 2 points Uddhav is actually using to relieve the distress of Nanda and Yashoda. Now in today's verse, again continuing along these 2 lines. So one side, Krishna says, Uddhav says, Na chasya karma valoke, sad asad mishra yonichu. So the first 2 lines, if you see, Uddhav is actually making the point that since he does not have any material body, right? He does not accept material body, he has no material work, he actually has no work to perform in this world. And because he has no work, there is no question of karma. And if there is no question of karma, he is not obliged to take birth in higher or lower species of life. Right? In 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually makes this point. It is karana guna sangasya sad asad yonishu janmashu. There also we see similar. Here also there is sad asad, and there also you see sad asad yonishu janmashu. Like Krishna says in the 13th chapter that because of karana guna karma sangasya, because of the association of with the 3 modes of material nature, because of our work, we are actually forced to enter into higher or lower species of life. But that is actually not applicable to Krishna. So Uddhav's point is, Krishna is beyond that. He is not forced to appear like every one of us. Right? And if you see in the, like why do people have to work? Like in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually, Prabhupada makes this point that sometimes people think the Lord is like the atlas holding the globe, always, and trying to make things work, But that is not the conception of God, right? So, like if you see that, why do people have to work, right? One is they have, sometimes it's just out of fear. If I don't work, who will pay the bills? Who will maintain my family? Out of fear, I have to go, I have to work. So the first level is fear. Then the next level actually comes to gain something. Why do I work? So that I can get good money and then I can buy a big house, nice car, everything will be good. Right? So first is fear, second is to gain something. Then third one is just out of duty. And Krishna talks about this in the 3rd and the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Karma Yoga, just out of duty you do your work. And then in 3rd chapter he actually makes the point, Nahi kasyat shanam api jatu tishtasi akarmakrit. That we cannot, and he, like because in starting of 3rd chapter, Arjun actually makes this point. And he says, Krishna, you're talking of spiritual life. And now I'm inspired. I just want to pursue my spiritual goals. So do I still have to work? Because what has my work right now here in this material world has to do with my spiritual life? I just want to leave everything, go to the forest and just focus on my spiritual calling. And that's Arjun's mood. And hence he asked Krishna, Krishna, do you want me to fight? Or should I just, with knowledge, actually cultivate this knowledge about the spiritual life and just focus on my spiritual values? And what is Krishna's answer? He says, everyone is forced to work by the three modes of material nature. So you cannot escape fighting. Yes, you have a spiritual calling, but the work itself, you cannot escape, because even though if you go to the forest, you will still engage in work based on your psychophysical nature. So better you use that work itself as a way to progress in your spiritual journey. And that's basically karma yoga, where we are doing our work based on our psychophysical nature, but that work itself is an aspect that is actually bringing us closer to Krishna. And that's basically karma yoga. You work and you are doing it as an offering to Krishna, or finally you are doing it as a pleasure to Krishna. So if you see at three levels, first is out of fear, second is to gain something, third is out of duty, and the fourth one is out of love. So these four are the aspects that Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about. Out of love, like I love my children, I need to feed them, and hence I am going to work. But if you see in Krishna's case, now neither does he have fear of anything. Right? It says fear personified is fearful of Krishna. But Krishna has no fear. Why would Krishna have fear? Right? So then the next level is to gain something. Now if you say Krishna is a proprietor of everything, Bhoktaram, Yagya Tapasam, Sarva Lokam, Maheshwaram, what is there for Krishna to gain? Everything is already his. So why should he work? Right? And then the third one is out of duty. No, Krishna as such has no material duties to perform. Just by his, we see the glories of Krishna. Just by his breathing, all these material universes are manifesting and then being maintained and then getting back into his body, being annihilated. Just by his breathing. So what duty would Krishna have to do? But finally the point comes out of love. Out of love. So we'll discuss this point about love. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he actually says, the direct meaning of Krishna, right, he says, the Krishna is directly the Para Brahman. Right? So Brahman has no false identity, he is equal to everyone. So that is the opulence aspect of Krishna. Like even in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually makes this point. Na mam karmani limpanti, na me karma phales priya. He said there's no work for me. And actually one who understands this, that how Krishna has no work to perform. He is beyond all the cause and effect, he is beyond all the karma. One who actually understands this, he himself gets free from bondage. That is how purifying this knowledge about Krishna is. Right? And this comes just after the verse, Janma karma chame divyam. To understand the activities and glories of Krishna, one actually gets free from bondage. So Krishna is saying, if you really understand how I don't have to do any kind of work, you understand my transcendental nature, you yourself get free from bondage. And Prabhupada often quotes this verse, right? Na tasya karanam karanam cha vidyate. This is actually from the Puranas, where again the same point is made. Na tasya karanam. Right? There is no cause for Krishna to do any kind of work. Right? So that is the aspect of the opulence of Krishna. But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, there is a hidden meaning as well. And what is that hidden meaning? That Brahman does not take birth in the wombs of goodness, passion or ignorance. So the hidden meaning comes to the aspect of why did Krishna actually appear as your son, Nanda and Yashoda? If he has no work to perform, he is fully satisfied, he is a proprietor of everything, why did Krishna actually appear as your son? So that is the second aspect of Krishna, the hidden meaning. Right? So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually explaining that Krishna, like he won't take birth in the wombs of goodness, passion and ignorance. He is above the three modes of material nature. He has no karma, no material body, no material goals, right? But still he is taking birth. So in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually explains why he appears again and again in this material world. Why? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chudushritam dharma samsthapanadhaya sambhamami yuge yuge. Right? Paritranaya sadhunam. To actually, the same words we see in this verse of Paritranaya and Sadhunam. To actually protect the devotees, to annihilate the demons, and to establish dharma. That's why Krishna is coming again and again. Right? But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually, Jiva Goswami in his commentary makes the point that for Krishna to establish dharma, or to kill the demons, or to protect his devotees, that is actually Krishna can just do by his thinking. Right? When there's a question of killing the demons, Krishna can just think, oh, this demon should be dead, and the demon will be killed. Why does Krishna has to come and actually, take birth, as such, appear in the family of Nanda and Yashoda to kill demons? He can just kill demons. Or the material nature has so many agents. That could be a thunderstorm or a lightning strike on the demon, and the demon could be killed. Why does Krishna has to personally come? So of these three reasons, to protect the devotees, to actually annihilate demons, and to establish dharma. For dharma, one can say, Krishna can send his own agents to establish dharma. And he does that. The representatives of Krishna come again and again to establish dharma. Why does he have to personally come? So he does not have to personally come. But why does Krishna personally come? And the reason is actually, the deeper meaning is actually Krishna comes again and again to relieve the suffering of separation of his devotees. Because the devotees are offering their everything to Krishna, they are engaging in bhakti, they are giving up everything and say, Krishna, you are mine, and just engaging in bhakti to Krishna. And Krishna is pulled by that devotion. And he says, my devotees are feeling so much separation from me, I will come myself. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is making the same point to Nanda and Yashoda, that Krishna is the real reason for Krishna to come, is to relieve the separation of the devotees. And you are dear devotees of Krishna, so Krishna will certainly come back to relieve your suffering. And that's the deeper meaning. So there's two aspects, opulence, and the other reason is the love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna. Right? So this is the verse basically here. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he actually towards the end of his commentary, he says, though he is impersonal Brahman, he also appears out of affection for his devotee in order to deliver them from suffering. So you are going through so much suffering because of separation, Krishna will certainly return back. And that way he is assuring Nanda and Yashoda. Okay. Now if you see this, so that's kind of the theme of this. But I want to go into one more aspect here. If you see this verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur starts off by saying that noticing that Nanda and Yashoda's prem did not decrease after this explanation, Uddhav is saying this verse. Now one may think that why is Nanda and Yashoda's distress not decreasing? If someone, if you consider this scenario that, okay, the parents are there, the child is there, and then somehow the child has gone away due to some reason. And someone comes and tells, oh, actually your child is so great. You haven't realized the glories. You are just thinking he's your child, but actually he is the supreme. He is the creator of this entire world. The parents should actually feel, wow, my son is so great. They should actually feel happy about it. They feel like anyone, naturally, if the son is away and someone is praising the son, the parents feel like, wow, that's so nice. My son is so great. I didn't even know all his glories. But now you're telling me, so I know my son is so great. They'll feel happy. But why is Nanda and Yashoda, their distress is not being relieved from all these points? And this actually reveals I was thinking about this point, that this actually proves the point, and this is the same point which actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended to establish. Right? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we say there's 5 main truths he has established. And one of them is Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. It's the highest authority. But why is it the highest authority? Because it's actually bringing out this aspect that beyond the opulence, beyond knowing the glories of Krishna, beyond loving Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, is the love for Krishna, where it is, even though Krishna may be the supreme personality of Godhead, for me, he's just my son. I don't care that Krishna is God. For me, he's just my son. And that is the mood of Vrindavan. So in spite of Uddhav presenting all these glories, Nanda and Yashoda, they are not satisfied because their love for Krishna is beyond what is Krishna's position. Krishna may be God, he may be demigod, he may be whoever he is. For us, He's just our Son. And that is their nature of love. That sweetness of love with Krishna. So through this entire pastime, we see the glory of the love of the devotees of Vrindavan as higher than those who actually worship Krishna in the mood of opulence, in the mood of awe and veneration, and so on. Right? So that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he listened that one of the 5 truths is that Bhagavatam is the highest pramana. What is the pramana? This is the pramana. That the love of the Vrajvasis is the highest. And then the second point is Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajeshwara Tanay Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. The highest form of Krishna, the supreme, so we say supreme personality of Godhead is Krishna, but the supreme personality of Krishna is Krishna in Vrindavan. He's Krishna in Vrindavan. That's the highest form of Krishna. Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajeshwara Tanay Tad Dhama Vrindavan. And Vrindavan is the highest abode, the most worshipable abode of the Lord. And this is actually bringing out the mood of the Vrajvasis. How Srila Prabhupada also said, Bombay is my office, Mayapur is my place of worship, but Vrindavan is my home. Is that right? Mayapur is the place where I worship. Yeah, worship, yes. Worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Vrindavan is finally a home. So it's all Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us the access to that Vrindavan, which is the highest of all. Right? I heard this in one of the class. They said, Vrindavan is such a special place that the Lord in Vrindavan is more human than superhuman. Because everywhere else the Lord is superhuman, but Lord is more human than superhuman. And in Vrindavan, the devotee's love for God is actually more intense than the God's love for his devotees. And in Vrindavan, the love is so deep that Krishna himself fails to keep his own promise. The love is so intense that Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is promising, Ye yatha mam prapadante tams tathaiva bhajamyam. As devotees serve me, to that extent I reciprocate. But the love of these Vrajvasis is so deep that Krishna says, Na pareham, I cannot reciprocate with your love. So the love of the devotees is so great that Krishna cannot keep up his promise. And then in the starting of Bhagavatam, we read that how Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadya Yasa Yaton Vayat Itaratas Charteshu Abhigyaswarat. How Krishna is completely independent. He's fully independent personality. There's nothing Krishna is dependent on. But now we see that fully dependent Lord in Vrindavan is dependent on the love of his devotees. In the 10th canto, when there's a pastime with Mother Yashoda, the word used is Krishna is forced, one way forced to actually take that position because their love is so sweet that Krishna cannot resist. And hence he actually plays like a little, like a small boy in Vrindavan. And yeah, so this is the main lesson that Krishna is actually wanting to show Uddhav. Uddhav, you think you're such a great devotee, and he is a very great devotee of Krishna, right? In Bhagavatam is established Uddhav, then Yudhishthir Maharaj, and Giriraj Govardhan. They are the best devotees of Krishna. But beyond that, Krishna wants to show Uddhav that the love of these Vrajvasis is so deep, and that's what I want to reveal to you. So Krishna is revealing the love of these Vrajvasis, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came to show the same mood. Show the same mood. So I want to mention this because as we are progressing in our bhakti, it's nice to meditate on that our real goal is to actually develop the love for Vrindavan, to develop the love for the Vrajvasis, and finally come to a stage where one day we can follow in the footsteps of one of the Vrajvasis and achieve the highest form of prema, the form of devotion in the mood of Raganuga Bhakti and so on. Right? Okay. So, are there any comments up to this point? Yes, Prabhu. Maybe I should get the mic because on.
You were mentioning that Krishna comes to the material world to bless his, or to relieve the sufferings of his devotees who are suffering in separation. We've heard this before, but it seems that the number of devotees suffering in separation from Krishna in the material world is rather small, that most of us are just separated. So how does he also benefit those of us who are just separated?
Yeah. When Krishna comes,
we're separated, we don't even care.
yeah.
So his question is, how does he benefit those who don't feel that?
Yeah, don't feel that separation. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So actually when Krishna appears, his appearance is all auspicious. And in Nectar of Devotion, when first chapter, when Rupa Goswami is explaining the qualities of devotional service, and he uses the word Shubhada. Shubhada means all auspicious. And Rupa Goswami defines, what does it mean that bhakti is all auspicious? He says, bhakti or appearance of Krishna is such that everyone is benefited. Everyone of it. Even those who don't know about Krishna, they are benefited. But how are they benefited? So at different levels we can see. So Krishna mainly comes for his pure devotees to relieve their suffering. But when he actually comes, anyone who is, like we see in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, anyone who actually was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he got benefited. Either they attain liberation, like merging into Brahman, or they actually attain one of the positive liberation. They just being killed by Krishna, you get benefited. And then when Krishna shows all these extraordinary activities when he comes, then it gives a subject matter for people to talk about for generations to come. And anyone who talks about Krishna will get the benefit. You know, anyone who talks. That's why the Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvata. Krishna shows such wonderful pastimes. Like if you see the sweetness of the childhood pastimes of Krishna, even now, like children love to hear, you know, like their pious families, like everyone loves. Oh, Krishna, he was stealing butter. Oh, Krishna, he lifted the Govardhan hill. This is how Krishna killed Keshi demon. And then Bakasur demon, he did this. He just separated the beaks and that's how he killed. And it's just like so interesting, something that is beyond anything that we hear in this material world. And as soon as anyone hears about Krishna, his spiritual journey started. He's already on his way back home, back to Godhead. So when Krishna comes, he actually benefits everyone. Right? Even we see Shishupal, he was actually always criticizing Krishna. Like how in Bhagavatam 7th canto, 1st chapter, it says, even those who are actually against Krishna, and they say, what are these Hare Krishnas? Can't they get a job? You know, like it's a joke I've heard this, like it's a joke earlier that these Hare Krishna devotees are everywhere chanting, why don't you get a job? Why are you wasting time? Even those who are just saying Hare Krishna, they are actually getting benefit. That is the extent when Krishna comes, he actually benefits everyone. Everyone. You know. And we see like how there's examples of, I heard this in one of the memories that one Mataji, I forget what's her name, but she was saying that Prabhupada was just coming down from the airport lounge and there was this whole, group of devotees, all chanting and jumping and everyone in ecstasy. And she was saying that she was looking around and no one was touching the floor. They were like so ecstatic. They were all like chanting and it was like so blissful. And everyone, like she herself, that was the first time she was seeing Prabhupada. I mean, she saw like tears were flowing down her eyes. Like she couldn't resist it. It was just like tears flowing down. And then she was just amazed by that whole scene. And then she turned behind and there were these two gentlemen who were dressed in like suit and tie. And they had like probably never heard of Hare Krishna or nothing. They were just happened to be there. And she looked at them and even they were just crying tears. And she didn't know why. And she was saying, this is the power of a pure devotee. That just by seeing a pure devotee, people's hearts are transformed. So when Krishna comes, his representatives come, this is beneficial for everyone. Any way they come in contact with Krishna, that is certainly Krishna's benefit. Yes, ma'am.
Of course, when Krishna comes, his presence is noticeable, right? But Krishna is always coming because his representatives are here. his books are here. The holy name is here. So it's always coming. So it's just, do we have the eyes to see or not? And another thing I was thinking is that when Uddhava is trying to appease the sorrow of Nanda and Yashoda, which they are experiencing such a high level of affection for the Supreme Lord, and externally appears they are in deep sorrow. I was thinking about somebody who is taking like a thermal bath, very comfortable, very invigorating and relaxing. And he gets out of the water and somebody throws a bucket of freezing cold water. So how are they going to ever take that instruction from Uddhava? Because the level of ecstasy they're experiencing is so high that this would be just like a big bucket of cold water on them. And that's why they don't want to go back to Mathura, because it's just such a decrease. It would cause a decrease in the affection that they have. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your class. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so Prabhupada actually mentions in one of the purpose, he says, he mentions the point that, when Krishna actually, he kills the demons, he actually still does in his form as a child, because he does not, if he has shown like a form, like a huge form like Varahadev or Vamanadev, then he would have disturbed the love of Mother Yashoda for Krishna. So he just, because he knows that devotees are so absorbed in this mood of sweetness, that he wants to have that level of sweetness. He exchanges with them that level of sweetness where there is no mood of awe and reverence. So though Uddhava is speaking so much about this mood of awe and reverence, for them, okay, even if Krishna is God, how does it matter? For us, he is our son, a child. And then hence we see these two aspects of Uddhava, where Krishna, establishing Krishna's opulence, and then establishing that, okay, he is your son, he will come back, he will come back, he will come back. And later on, Krishna does come back. So that's the two moods. Anything else? Okay. So should we stop?
Can you talk again about these 5 elements or 5 lessons that Lord Chaitanya is bringing? Can you mention them again?
Yeah, so it says, Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajeshwara Tanay Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. So first thing is the highest form of Krishna is Vrajeshwar Tanay, that Krishna of Vrindavan, that Sham Sundar Krishna, that is the highest form of Krishna. The form of Krishna where he is revealing himself the most compared to any other form. Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajeshwar Tanay Tad Dhama Vrindavan. That Vrindavan Dham is the most highest place of worship. Nothing is more higher than Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the highest place of worship. There's this one Brajvasi I heard, he was saying to one devotee, and he said like, in Vrindavan, every dream is a reality, and outside Vrindavan, every reality is a dream. So it's all Vrindavan, it's all in Vrindavan, right? So second point is, Vrindavan is the most worshipable, the highest of all abodes. Tad Dhama Vrindavan, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajvadhu Vargena Va Kalpita. The highest form of worship, the highest devotees of Krishna is who? The gopis of Vrindavan. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajvadhu, the gopis of Vrindavan. Right? Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajvadhu Vargena Vakalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan. Right? So Krishna in Vrindavan. Second point is Vrindavan itself is the highest, most worshipable Lord. Third point is the topmost devotees are Krishna, are the gopis of Vrindavan, the Vrajvadhu. Fourth point, the highest praman, the highest evidence of the absolute nature is actually Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the highest pramana. And that's what you are reading right now. Granthra Srimad. And the fifth point is what is the highest perfection? Prema Pumartho Mahan. To achieve love for that Krishna, Vrajeshwar Tanay Krishna, that Krishna in Vrindavan, that is the highest perfection. Prema Pumartho Mahan. And these are the 5 truths that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained. And this was not compiled by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it was compiled by Srinath Chakravarti later on. But this. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham. Namahom Vishnu Jaya Krishna Prasnaya Mutanai Srimate Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Ramanai Umani Pacha Negi Nimisesha Shunyavani Shachaya Desatarane Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurmata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurmata Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurmata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurmata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurmata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurmata Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Raj Goloka Nana Rama Goloka Nana Rama Jai Jai.
Hare
Just want to make a quick announcement that tomorrow there'll be Harinam at Weaver Street Market at 11:30, and we'll be there till 1 or so. So please join us at Weaver Street Market for Harinam. Haribo. Chaito Darpana Marjanam Rabya Chandrika Vitaranam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Paramvidayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarvashak. Thank you. Atra Pidani Marita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midvishami Hanjanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundaram Kavitam Va Jagadishakamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakir Hoitaki Tvai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vapata Pankaja Nidaguli Tajushim Vachintaya Nayanam Kalushu Daraya Nayanam Kalushu Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tabanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Aslishya Vapadam Rinam Rinastumam Adarshanam Marmahatakarottuva Yatatatava Minadolam Pato Mat Prananatastu Sevanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. And with the kindness you easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, void of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death, me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand and end at the recitation of your name? O